What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, 24-hour day. Back from the break. Going into our closing set, remember you guys can always follow, subscribe, share, and like and comment on KBR Sports on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Please make sure you guys share and like and comment KBR Sports. We appreciate all the people that tune in to watch the show on the daily. So we appreciate if you guys always show your love and support. And also follow us on KBR_sports on Twitter, where we tweet out live links for the show and our topics before every show. And don't forget, you guys can also call in the KBR Sports by calling it at 571-991-0566. Okay, looking into this weekend's matchups, we already listed out the teams that are going to be performing in this weekend's set of games. Nigel already left, so it's going to be me talking about these teams so far. But right now, what it looks like we have set up for the Super Bowl is an entirely offensive Super Bowl. And when I say offensive Super Bowl, I mean all these teams do is score, essentially. They're really good at scoring. The Falcons, in terms of offense, the Falcons are the number one scoring offense. Patriots are number 3. The Packers are number 4. And the Steelers are number 10. That's literally, every single team that's left in the playoffs is top 10. Last year, the Denver Broncos weren't even in the top 10 in total offense. Right now, Atlanta's second in yards gained, in total yards. 4th is New England, 7th is Pittsburgh. Like when you look at just the scope of everything, it's just you can't help but think. And the Green Bay's 8th. The teams are so good that, or at least offensively good, that I wonder if we're prepared to watch a shootout. And that's something that doesn't normally happen in the Super Bowl. I mean, think about every Super Bowl that we've had in recent years. Either you had a top 5 or top 10 defense in it. You had Denver, Carolina. Denver was the number 1 defense last year. Carolina was about number 6. Then the year before that, you had Seattle, New England. Seattle was the number 1 defense. New England was a top 5 defense. It's just a continue. And then even when you had an offensive team in the Super Bowl, when you had the Denver Broncos there from about 3 years ago, play the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle was number 1 or number 2 back then, and then Denver was the number 1 offense. They got pummeled. It was barely even a contest. So now when you have what is shaken up to be a matchup of just offensive juggernauts, I wonder how things will exactly shake out, because will it come down to defense because of the fact that every single team is so adept at scoring on the other team that if it comes down to defense, which one of these teams really is a great defense? I mean, when you look at the statistics, granted, Atlanta has played better defensively as of late. The team that's performing on the highest level right now on defense would have to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And just because, coming to the end of the season, the Steelers just started playing at a different kind of level than everybody else on defense. And it was one of those things that we critiqued the Steelers. Yeah, we made fun of them. We were like, oh, well, these guys have a young secondary. But there's one thing Mike Tomlin knows how to do. Is he knows how to get his guys up to play defense. The guys in that secondary, he got them up to play defense. And you got to credit him for it. But then you see a performance how Atlanta put on the Seattle Seahawks. And this is Seattle now. This is a team that majority of people picked to go to the Super Bowl if you didn't probably pick maybe the Cowboys or the Packers. So they put on a 16-point whooping on the Seattle Seahawks. So when you look at that and you're just like, man, Atlanta's playing at a high level. Green Bay, they gave up over 18 points to the Dallas Cowboys last week in the second half of the game. There was a point Dallas was down 21-3 in the first half, and Green Bay let them come back all the way to have the game tied at 31-31, and it came down to a last-second field goal. So that makes me pause on Green Bay's offense, because you let a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back, lead consecutive drives, to essentially come back from being down 18 in the first half to come back and tie the game, and then you went off of a field goal. And so that for me makes me give kind of a little bit of cause to pause on Green Bay, because I'm just like, man, I don't know about that. And if you're playing Atlanta, who's even a better offense than the Dallas offense was, then it's not looking too good for Green Bay for me for that perspective. I'm looking at the defense's perspective. And then when it comes to the Patriots, yeah, everybody's gonna say it's Bill Belichick, it's Tom Brady, it's the Patriots. I get it. We've just picked the Patriots. But there's one thing that I am worried about with the Patriots, is that their defense is a bit overrated. Now, what I mean by what I say that is, New England was 8th in yards, pretty much, in yards allowed. And then when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, New England, they were number 1 in points allowed and scoring defense. But the only problem with that is when you look at the level of competition New England faced throughout the season. I mean, the biggest marquee quarterback that they played was Russell Wilson, and they lost that game. They lost. Tom Brady. That was the first game. That was the first game after Tom Brady came back. He threw his first interception in, and so you look at that. I mean, I can just list a string of quarterbacks Tom Brady's played throughout the season. He's played Ryan Tannehill twice. He's played Tyrod Taylor twice. He's played Ryan Fitzpatrick and Bryce Petty each once. Played Jared Goff once. He played Colin Kaepernick once. He played Carson Palmer once. Tom Brady hasn't played the best mix of quarterbacks throughout the season. Their defense hasn't. And so their defensive stats can be a bit inflated if you're playing such a sorry stream of competition. Then your defense is gonna have a high reflection. But then when I look at it from the perspective of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, they're 10th in points and they're not giving up a lot of yards either. So I mean, it's hard to pick against. I mean, they're literally 12th in yards, and they have one of the toughest schedules in the league. They played Tom without Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger was hurt when the Pittsburgh Steelers actually played Tom Brady and the Patriots. When they came to play them, they started Landry Jones, man. Landry Jones. I mean, it's only so, and Le'Veon Bell still did his thing against them. Now imagine if Big Ben's there. It's just so tough. I don't even know how to grade it. I truly don't know how to grade it. It's such a determination just because of the fact that both teams are so. When I always believe that it's like such a term they say in basketball. That was great defense, but just better offense. But for some reason in football, it doesn't always churn out that way, because basketball, while it's more one-on-one driven, your offensive skills one-on-one can kind of lead you over another guy's individual defensive ability. Offense in the NFL, you're so dependent on each and every guy on the other side on each side aspect of the ball. If your receivers can't get open, your quarterback's going to be holding the ball. What happens? The pass rush gets to him. If you can't run the football, you're going to throw the football a lot more, which you're going to put the ball at risk more often through the air. So it's such a tough deal to kind of assess, because of the fact that when you look at, I mean, from what I predicted, which was an Atlanta and New England Super Bowl, that would be pretty much Atlanta is, they're not the best defensive team, but they put on good defensive performances when they've needed to. So from the justification like that, it's not like they're gonna be playing in Foxborough in that game either. So from that justification, I mean, I think it'll just most likely be a shootout. I don't think really either of the teams will be able to stop each other, because when you've seen the Patriots play against good quarterbacks, the good quarterback, the Seahawks are able to move. And I'm talking about a Seattle Seahawks offense that hasn't been able to run the ball consistently all season. A Seattle Seahawks offense that had an injured Russell Wilson, and a Seattle Seahawks offense that their offensive line was the worst in the league. Literally 32nd. Check Pro Football Focus. 32nd offensive line. And so then you're going to play Atlanta, that has a top 10 offensive line, arguably the top receiver in the game, one of the top 10 rushing attacks in the league, and that's going to be the Super Bowl? Man. But then, y'all know I love me some Tom Brady. Man. Turbo Tom, man. Turbo Tom. He never fails, man. Never, except for 2 times, but that's besides the point. But Turbo Tom, he always gets it done somehow. Bill Belichick, he always brings his defense, except for the fact when he's playing in Denver, but that's besides the point. But and when David Tyree and Mario Manningham involved in the game, but they're not in this game. So, but I think if you want to bet on this game, the New England, if that's the Super Bowl we end up with, New England and Atlanta. Man, that'd be a tough one to bet on. Put your money on the Falcons though, because everybody's gonna. If nobody believes in Matt Ryan and the Falcons, nobody does. Nobody has really any faith in them. Even though Matt Ryan's had a QBR over 125 over the past 5 games, over 125. He's playing at the highest level of a quarterback. but nobody's gonna put their money on them. Think about it. Everybody that was betting, people picked Seattle. The only reason why people were hedging their bets on Seattle is because Earl Thomas is hurt, and then Seattle's offensive line is bad, but they're still picking Seattle to beat them. I picked Seattle to beat them. So it's really, people are really going to be kind of locked on who to pick and who to bet on. But if I told you to bet your money, man, you get a lot of money. You bet on Atlanta. But all right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up for KBR Sports, the best sports talk show your 24-hour day. Remember, you guys, to tune in to KBR Sports on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe, and comment and like on KBR Sports on each of those different platforms. Don't forget to follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_Sports, where we tweet our live links for the show, and we can read your tweets live for each show, and we'll take your opinions and thoughts on topics for future shows. Don't forget, you guys can also call in on future shows at 571-991-0566. Don't forget, the number is 571-991-0566. Normally, I would do some kind of inspirational quote. That's what we normally do. Nigel did it. I truly don't even know what he said, but just kind of, just rewind back a little bit and apply that to now. But all right, y'all have a great evening. It's KBR Sports.